Hi guys, Bill here. It's Friday night. It's nice and wet outside, so I decided I'd do a tutorial of something that's been on my mind a lot. Now, as you can see what I got going on here, bob and weave line, all right, the vertical bungee ball line. And what I want to discuss tonight is when you're practicing ducking under a kick, a punch, a bat, something swinging at your jawline, neckline, and you need to change. You need a tool to practice this stuff, and then this is why I use this kind of stuff, and I come up with this. You notice down here, you'll see kind of a yellowish tennis ball, and you can slide it up and down on the vertical bungee. The horizontal bungee is obviously aligned to duck under, okay? But what I want to talk about is what target are available when you are ducking, and how do you go about using those targets? Well, a simple way to practice it, like for instance, the ball is set up on a knee line right now, okay? So, if you are in a position, let's talk about something else too, where you are in the spectrum of timing, if you can't get out of the way of something, in other words, zone out of the way as it swings by, which is going to usually be most of the time, you only have a couple of choices, all right? You can either meet what's going on, cut it off, or you can duck, or you can do the same, duck and meet it, all right? So, ducking is many times useful, but you have to have the ability to move into different positions. Don't just duck, because you can be trampled, run over, kneed. A lot of things can happen. So with this, the horizontal line is useful for taking a situation, you got a left side and a right side, right? If I'm facing camera. The vertical bungee is basically the center line of the opponent. Look at it that way. With the bungee ball down here, you'll see it's at my knee level. All right, well, how is this useful? Remember, the knee is a huge lever to spin somebody, control their balance. Not often thought about. Have you ever been kicked in the knee? Sure, it'll move you, it hurts. But you can also control the knee when you drop or duck. You can strike the inside of the knee. You can strike on top of the calf muscle. You can do a lot of things, but what I want to explain tonight is the usefulness of how to practice this stuff. Because the cool thing about this is you can move it. The knee is not hard to move. It's real easy to move, especially when somebody is stepping, as when they step in to punch you. They're going to land on that knee, and when they do, when you move it, guess what's going to happen? Usually it's going to compromise their balance. Sometimes their knee will even come out. But the point is, it's a useful tool for yourself. So one of the ways to practice is, say you're in conventional stance, I would be left foot forward, all right? Now, what you want to get used to doing, number one, is reach out for the up and down line. It's got the bungee ball on it, all right, the vertical line. You know you can touch it easily. Take a step back. All right? This is usually the confrontational distance. When you see something coming, and it's good to see it, you want to drop under and practice touching the knee, change your footing, come up with a punch, a simple jam cross. All right? Stay conventional, practice going to the left side. Touch the knee, jab cross. Go to the right, touch the knee, jab cross. Okay, and now anybody who follows me knows when I go to my inside, I always switch my feet because I want that elbow control. So, the other thing you practice doing now when that starts getting comfortable, and you can reach it comfortably, practice moving it. All right, the same thing. When you drop to your inside, practice moving. See me move it? Come in, boom, pop up and punch. Going to your outside, you'll use your backhand. Practice moving, come up and punch. Okay? Does that make sense? If you don't practice this stuff, you're not going to do it. When you're developing your tools, you're making your toolbox. That's your subconscious mind. Understand what your toolbox is. If you don't do movements that become reactionary, it's not going to happen. This is why repetition is the mother of skill. And then you have people go as far as saying, correct repetition is the mother of skill. Okay, noted. The problem you want to practice doing it for real. You want to practice the motions. Don't just go through the motions. You want to practice the motions. So in other words, when you drop under here, don't just touch the ball. Move the ball. Touch, bang, bang. Come up and fire. Practice punching the bungees they give for your fist. You're going to reach them. So you're practicing precision and accuracy as well. You don't have to worry about hurting yourself. You're not really hitting anything that's very hard. But the point is you're going through the motions at full speed with balance and breathing and proper composure. All right? That's what's going to develop those tools, those toolboxes, so when you do use them, they're going to be there for you. The other side of the fence is, when you do it with training partners, they need to come at you for real. Meaning they have to have some intent behind what they're doing. And you have to practice doing this stuff. That's the ability to read the situation, okay? You need an interactive partner or partners for that. But this stuff, the bungees, using the ball, is good for tool development, actually doing the skill. And then, of course, when you interact with training partners or an opponent or somebody who attacks you, your body's going to be in condition for functioning this way. And when we're talking about self-defense circles or no rules stuff, if you don't condition your toolbox, in other words, you don't put the reps in, you don't have the mindfulness of what you're doing, you don't have that sense of enemy when you're training, your shit's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's real important to go through the motions, not half speed, full speed. You build up, but full speed. Anyone who trains with me knows that the bungee lines are super, super important. The other thing I do use is a pendulum. All right? That would be this. Okay, it swings. I put it on the hook, it's on the roof. That's what these are. The other thing that's very important is the double end bag. All right? That's this here. Attaches to the ground. It's on a bungee. I happen to use a tennis ball. These three tools, the pendulum, the bungee lines, and the double end bag, or in this case tennis ball, are the three most important tools to train with. Why? Because they're reactionary. They give you a sense of timing. They give you a sense of touch. So you can actually use touch as a monitoring tool, which is what you do for real anyway, especially when you're in defensive modes or you're studying action-reaction. It's off touch as well as visual, especially if you didn't see the shit coming. Okay? So this is what I want to share because it's a useful tool, plus it's fun. And notice this is at knee line now, but you can move it around and slide it up your tape marks here. You know, you just put tape marks, you take a tennis ball and you cut it in half and you work your tape marks. See, now this is groin level, right? So you can practice hitting your groin and you come up and practice coming to the head. You can have your different marks on top, up and down. That's what's useful. You can even put a couple of them, but I recommend keeping it low, really, when you're working the ball, because you want to get used to manipulating the knee, and that's arm travel. All right, when you push the knee, you have the hip rotations. Okay, and then later on, you know, when you come back down to the knee department, you know, you can practice is ducking, and you can practice kicking the knee, punching the knee, kneeing the knee. Learn how to manipulate, and while you're keeping your balance, because if you can't keep your balance, it's all for not anything. All right, and those that know how to roll and fall, you can practice touching the knee, roll, get into another position. Right, you have to know how to roll on concrete, not on a soft mat. Things like this. Okay, so my future tutorials, I'm going to be working a lot with these things, and I'm going to start bringing back the double end tennis ball again, because I have, you know, the information is outdated, and it's just a lot of fun. I like to put reminders out there. All right, it's a very useful tool, and I just can't say enough about putting in the reps. And if you make yourself a home gym like I've done, this is the gym I teach out of. This is the gym I train out of. This is my experimenting laboratory. I have interactive tools in here that keep me busy for the rest of my life. But what they have done is given me live skills, something that I can actually do and teach. That's so, for instance, when you touch the bungees, when you're working on reaction punching or block, and what's a reaction punch? You block and you fire from the block. A counter punch is you block and fire from the other side. You don't fire from the blocking side. That's the difference. When you work on a bungee, for instance, somebody throws a hook and you block, bang, and you got that feel and that spring, and you practice fire back. So it's very, very useful stuff. But I don't want to get too long-winded about it because I get excited about it because I know the stuff works. But this is a good way to start working on, when you drop under, work on that knee manipulation and practice this kind of thing. It's a very useful tool. And again, when I'm explaining stuff, it's not sport-related, meaning I don't emphasize the rules. And the problem with sports training is you obviously have to condition your responses to follow the rules, otherwise you get disqualified. I lean more towards self-protection, you know what I mean? So it's being able to make things count, and groin hits and knee manipulation count. They count a lot. They're fouls in sports, but they're very effective when it matters. And so this is what I choose to propagate. So just understand that. I want to make very clear that that's what I'm about. Anyhow, thanks for watching. You can follow me on YouTube under my name, Billy Boston. You can email me at billyboston@gmail.com. And you can actually call me now. That's a long story, but if you're interested, give me a call. 818-987-1760, okay? And I propagate self-defense boxing, which is obviously not the sport of boxing. It's the science of boxing and things that I've learned from it and things that I bring to it. So if you want to learn a lot about yourself, give me a call because it's a hell of a lot of fun. But it's very interactive. But anyway, that's what I'm trying to share out there. Have a wonderful Friday night. Stay out of trouble. Till next time. Bye.